Hellcat.
What's up, guys? I'm currently stuck at the workshop at the moment because my car's aircon ran out of gas and there's pretty much no cold air left. And you know, in Singapore it's really hot, so my aircon is like really important. I'm actually intending to go for a walk today. This is like a rest day. Just gonna do a little bit of cardio. And the workshop is around Bedok area, so maybe we're lucky and it gets done fast enough. I might go down to Bedok Reservoir, check out the park there. I haven't really been there for quite a long time, so yeah, maybe just go there and then we're gonna take a walk and see how it goes. In the meantime, due to COVID-19 and the lockdown, there's nowhere I can really go, like to get a drink or sit down, so I'm just like sitting on a stool here, just outside the workshop, and I think it's gonna take about an hour, so I'm gonna have to like chill here for an hour. So now the aircon is like nice and cold. At least don't feel so warm now. I'm gonna be checking on my GPS and we're gonna try to head down to Bedok Reservoir, check it out, and then yeah, see from there. We're just gonna take a walk, do a little bit of cardio today, and then we'll see from there. Alright, let's go. Bedok Reservoir, so just checking behind me for the directory, looking around the routes around the park, and now we're just gonna take a quick stroll. Just gonna walk around the park, check out the reservoir, and try to burn some calories along the way. Hopefully the weather stays this way. It's pretty nice today, nice and sunny. So yeah, we're gonna take a walk. You know what's the funny thing? For the past 3 to 4 years since I started on my fitness journey, training up, I have never really actually been to the park. And it's funny that, maybe ironic as well, that it's got to take something like this where we have no access to the gym or any other areas where I'm like forced to actually explore the parks. But I'm actually pretty happy about it because it gives me a very good opportunity to really explore and actually to realize that actually, you know, in Singapore there's a lot of like nice parks around. And yeah, so I think that's something good as well we can take from COVID-19, I guess. Today we're going to talk a little bit about training and training frequency. So like, especially now we have like, we're pretty free every day. So sometimes I get people wondering, like asking me whether how often they should train and whether it's advisable to train every day. My opinion is that training is really subjective, because it also depends on the intensity level at which you train at. So like if you're like going at it like a beast and you're training really hard, it's impossible that you're like going to be able to like do the workouts every day. Yeah, it's just physically not possible. And the other thing is also you need to understand that for training, in terms of frequency, there's actually other factors to consider. So you got to think about in terms of your rest. So are you getting like enough rest, first of all? After training, your body needs to recover. After tearing all the muscle fibers, your body needs time to actually rebuild and get stronger. So if you're not getting adequate rest, then there's no point to be training that often. Because if you're training that often, then it just leads to a little bit of like overtraining, because your muscles are still fatigued and you're not ready yet to really perform at its optimum level. So yeah, you need to really understand your own schedule, your own training routines, and then start from there. For beginners, I will always recommend like a frequency of about maybe like 2 times a week. Start with that. After training, you're gonna see how your body reacts and whether, you know, the aches and pains, how long do they last. For older people like above 35 years old, we suffer from DOMS, so like delayed onset muscle syndrome. So the aches may not come till like the second day where it really hits you. So yeah, you gotta be careful with that. I know everybody, like when we start our fitness journey, usually we're pretty zealous. We really want to we're super enthusiastic. But you gotta understand as well, like you gotta know your own body as well. So you know like what's the limits and work within the limits, so that you don't get overly fatigued, as well as when you get fatigued and you're not performing well, that's when you also lose the motivation. So when you lose that motivation, then people tend to give up after a while. Yeah. So yeah, for beginners, about 2 times a week, depending on the type of training you're doing. For intermediate, advanced, maybe you can start to move up in terms of how your body's handling your training. So like 3, 4, or like even for myself, like when I do hit the gym, I go like maybe 5 to 6 times a week. Again, while you're training, it's also important to see that what is the training program that you have. Make sure you're not overworking each muscle group. And there's also one other thing that's really important that you need to consider, that is your diet. So your diet, like your nutrition, you know, you need to know whether is your nutrition on point. Are you replenishing your body with the appropriate nutrients? Are you getting the amino acids back in your body so that you are able to rebuild the muscles, get stronger? Okay, so if you're not eating well, you're just going for like junk food, you're not eating properly, then definitely I would say that the frequency of training should be lower. Alright, But if you are having a good diet, constantly watching a little bit on your macros, you don't really need to be like super specific, but at least have a rough idea of what you're eating, then you should be pretty good. Then you see from there whether your current training program is good for you, whether you're doing circuit training, whether you're doing HIIT, whether you're doing like explosive cardio. Yeah, so you gotta take note of all these factors before you decide on in terms of the frequency that you should be hitting your training. Yeah. Alright, there's also like one other aspect about training frequency which you should take in mind. So if you are like me and you're trying to like build up a physique, so everybody's different. We're going to have like lagging body parts. Our genetics will play a part as well, like in terms of how good our body reacts to our training and how fast it builds up the muscle. So from there, frequency is also plays a key role in whether how far you progress. So for example, like myself, I would say I have a very weak chest. Okay, so like from early days when I started competing and I started to get into the gym, chest was always a problem for me. I could never really get a good chest, like a good palm. I was always pretty weak on my chest. When I first competed, I felt super flat on my chest, you know. Now I know how like some of those girls feel. But anyway, what happened was that I came up with my own training program where I actually increased the frequency of that muscle group. So there's the lagging muscle group, and I hit my chest like 3 times a week. 3 times a week, but being a little bit careful not to overtrain the muscle, make sure I get enough rest, and trying to make sure I hit the muscle from all different angles. And I've been doing that for like quite a long time, and over like a span of about 2 to 3 months, I think it's about 3 months, then I really started to see like some good progress on my chest. Yeah, so just take that into consideration when you're training as well at the gym, or when everything is over and you go back to the gym. So frequency is very important. Lagging muscle groups, you want to increase the frequency. Yeah, and for stronger muscle groups, I would recommend to just do it once a week or once every 2 weeks, okay, depending how strong you are in that muscle group. Okay, human tendency is that we always like to go back to our strengths. Alright, but I challenge you to try to attack your weaknesses, because that's where you will really see the progress in your physique. Yeah, so if you do like the video, remember to give it a thumbs up and like the video. Please subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications. And till the next video, stay strong.